How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Patriot DIY channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to safely hook up your generator to your house. All right, guys, now it is winter time and we just had a big ice storm come through, and we have another storm coming through this weekend. And as I was getting my generator out and preparing for that, I realized that there are a lot of people out there that just don't know how to safely hook up their generator to their house. So obviously, if you have a generator like this, you can just crank it up and run extension cords to all the electronics and things that you want to run in your house. But a far more convenient way is to actually hook it up to the house and use your home's electrical panel to power the things that you want to run. Now, there are right and wrong ways to do this, and anytime you're dealing with electricity, it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So let me first say, I am not a professional electrician, I'm just a professional homeowner. So if you're doing this for the first time or you don't have the proper equipment set up on your house, I definitely recommend that you talk to a certified electrician before doing any of this. Now, the first way to do this is with a power inlet box and an interlock kit installed on your main panel. Now, that's the way I have it set up here at my house. I think it's a really great way to do it. Another safe option is to have a transfer switch installed that basically installs a separate sub panel, and you have to choose beforehand which circuits you want to put in there, and those would be the only circuits you could power with the generator. But for this video, we're mainly going to be looking at the interlock kit. I tend to prefer that because I can potentially run my entire house, but at the very least, I could turn off any circuits that I don't want to run and turn on the circuits that I do want to run. Now, the generator that I have is the 11,000 watt dual fuel generator from Win, and I will have a link to this in the description below if you want to get one for yourself. Now, I'm going to get in here and show you the proper sequence for hooking up your generator to make sure you're being safe. But before we get into all that, guys, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is come here to the panel on the inside of the house, and I'm going to cut off all the breakers. Now, what I don't want is, as soon as that generator kicks on, I don't want it automatically trying to power everything in the house. What I'm going to do instead is, once it's hooked up, is I'm going to come back in here and incrementally turn on one thing at a time to make sure I don't overload the generator. That's also going to give me the ability to choose which circuits I want to power. I may not want to power the entire house. I may just want to power the downstairs lights, the refrigerator, the AC, the water pump, that kind of stuff. Now, there are definitely right and wrong ways to hook a generator to your house. The safest way is with something like a power inlet box like this here. It has the generator hookup here in the bottom, and an interlock kit on your main panel. So up here is the main breaker that feeds grid power into my house. Down here is the breaker for that power inlet box where we're going to plug in the generator. And what an interlock kit does is it doesn't allow me to turn on the generator breaker until the grid power is turned off. Now, that is a really crucial step. The danger of this is if you're feeding generator power into your house without turning off that main breaker for the grid power, what can happen is you can backfeed power from your generator back into the grid and into those power lines, and if there are any linemen or anything working on those lines, you could kill them. So what you have to make sure you do is turn off the grid power first before feeding that generator power into your house. And that's the purpose of this interlock kit. It makes it impossible to do that. You cannot turn on the generator power while this is still on. So I'm going to turn off that main grid power. That's going to allow me to move that interlock kit and turn on the breaker for the generator. And as you can see, both of these cannot be on at the same time. Next, I need to make the connection to the house, and you are going to need a special cable for that. My generator has a 50 amp plug, so I have a 50 amp cable, and then here on the other end is what's going to hook in to that power inlet box. And we can go ahead and do that now. So we're just going to fit this cable in and then turn it to lock it in place. With that done, we're ready to start the generator. So I make sure the gas is on, make sure the selector switch is turned to gasoline, and now we just crank it up. Now we can head inside and start powering up those breakers. All right guys, as you can see, we're back in the house. No lights working. So let's go start powering up some of those breakers. All right guys, we're back in the house at the breaker panels. I'm just gonna start turning these on one at a time and we'll see if we have power. So I'm gonna start with the room that we're in right now just so you can see. Okay, we have power here. And then a real emergency, what I would do is start turning on the important circuits. So like my freezer, my refrigerator, some lights. I'm also hoping to run my well pump and my heat and AC. So let's go check it out and make sure that stuff's running. All right guys, walking back out here, you can see the living room lights are now on. Let's check out the AC unit. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna bump this up just to get that heat going. Let's go over here and check the refrigerator. Yep, that's on. All right, now I did turn on the well pump, so let's make sure that's working. And when I turned on the water, I could hear the generator outside rev up a little bit, but it is still running. That's a good sign. All right, and as I was walking over here, I could hear the generator kind of bog down for a second, but we get over here, and as you can see, the AC unit is running. That is a pleasant surprise. Now, when the grid power comes back on, we're just gonna do everything in reverse. So we cut the generator off. Then we can remove the generator cable from the house and turn off the generator breaker, drop that interlock down, and turn back on the main breaker for the grid power. All right guys, that is it for how to hook up your generator to the house. I hope this video helped you out, and keep in mind there is a proper sequence for how to do this to make sure you're being safe. And like I said before, if you're not comfortable with this, make sure you contact a licensed electrician to help you out. And of course, as always, I will have a link to this generator and a few other accessories linked in the description below. Thanks for watching guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.